Hello and welcome to Checkpoint on Campus. I'm your host, Jacob Brothers, and joined with me, as always, is Erica Sidora. Erica, how are you today?
Fan-freaking-tastic. How are you today?
I'm doing good, but one thing that's not doing good is Collegiate Overwatch. And so the Collegiate Overwatch Homecoming tournament is going to be happening on October 1st, but this is actually about scheduling. So on September 8th, Blizzard pushed out their schedule, a month before the tournament's happening. And they said, hey, on Fridays, matches are going to be happening at 3 p.m. Generally, colleges in the Collegiate Overwatch have classes at that time. And so a bunch of schools voiced their concerns, the main one being UC Irvine. The head coach spoke up and was like, usually when there's a change in the schedule, we need months in advance so we can make accommodations, but also kids have class. So Blizzard said, okay. Let's just move it to 4:30. And so now the Friday matches are going to be happening at 4:30. And the spokesperson for Blizzard said that it's impossible to make a time that works for everybody. So I have a lot of thoughts, but Erica, I'm going to pick your brain first. What do you think? And this is only for Friday, so Saturday and Sundays I'm sure will run fine. But for Fridays at a 4:30 p.m. start time for matches, what do you think about that?
I think it's irresponsible for them to give that excuse because a lot of collegiate communities put together a specific time slot for students to join. And when you're only putting it out a month before and then continuing to say, hey, this isn't possible to accommodate everyone, that's kind of inconsiderate to the students who also value their education incredibly high. I feel like it's a slap in the face for college students to know that their classes aren't really ranked above something that they also enjoy, which is gaming, and it's kind of Blizzard's responsibility to make sure their players are accommodated.
Yeah, it literally will make students pick between going to class or playing their video game for their college. But here's the other part that really bothers me, because they're like, yeah, we need it to be earlier so that way the East games don't go later. One, everyone in the East stays up to midnight watching sports to begin with. Two, these are college students. Three, these are gamers. And you can't look me in the eyes and say that a college student is going to bed before midnight who plays video games.
Right.
I'm staying up till 2 a.m. every night playing my video games. If I think that if an Eastern team has a match that runs until 11 p.m., their life schedule is not going to be that different. And so it seems kind of absurd to me that the East teams are going to have to deal with this issue. So
I have another quick point. Another thing is this wouldn't have happened if Blizzard released a schedule months before. This is the thing, because usually programs, especially towards the East Coast, they start when it starts in their time, it starts around the afternoon and it ends around maybe 10 p.m. at latest or at earliest, depending on how it goes. But again, this wouldn't have happened if Blizzard just took their scheduling a little bit more seriously.
And furthermore, this wouldn't have happened if the schools themselves took their esports programs more seriously. That's what I think is another big issue. The people who make decisions outside of the schools where their identity is esports, for the rest of the schools, it's just like, yeah, they're a club, they play video games, it's good for them, and they're not making decisions of like, hey, you're doing a tournament, and maybe they don't even know that there's an Overwatch tournament happening, and they're not saying, hey, this can't happen. And the schools that do, Blizzard's just like, yeah, well, we can't really help everybody.
I think there's a huge disconnect that's going on, like you said, between Blizzard and the schools, because again, the administration doesn't really believe that esports is important to their students, which, it's a huge problem in that self. But I feel like if they took each other a little bit more seriously and communicated before this whole problem started, this really wouldn't have been an issue between Blizzard and the schools. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And to wrap this up, the bigger problem of it is that Collegiate Overwatch is awesome. The teams that are being developed, the storylines that are happening are all some of the best in collegiate esports. And so if you have players who aren't being accommodated, that means somewhere in the big picture, teams are going to drop. And that's going to make the whole big picture worse. And so hopefully we'll see what happens with more scheduling. But on a more positive note, the HUE Invitational is happening next week, which will be Overwatch and League of Legends. So make sure you check that out because we're going to be covering it. And yeah, Overwatch is great. We love Overwatch. It's about to be coming up. And hopefully it runs as smoothly as we hope. Welcome back to Checkpoint on Campus. I'm still here. Eric is still there. And we are joined by a very special guest. We are joined by Steph Miller, who is in the running for an internship of 100 Thieves. Steph, how are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. So, about being in the running, it's all through TikTok. I need you to run me through that because I cannot wrap my head around it.
So, do you guys know who JHB is on 100 Thieves? Have you ever heard of him? He is their senior intern now, moved to a full-time position. He was able to be an intern there from a video he made, I'm pretty sure a couple years ago, just reaching out to Nate Shot. Super creative video he made. But he's been there interning for a few years now, finally moved to a full position. And with it, I'm pretty sure it was his idea. Because he was moving to a full-time position, they wanted to find some more interns. So he's been putting on a contest through TikTok. So they've been just saying, make a viral TikTok, show us what skills you have to be our intern. We're looking for 1 to 2 more interns and just get our attention. And that was kind of like how the first round went. He put out his video on the 100 Thieves account and it kind of explained all the rules. And then from there on, it was just creativity. Yeah.
That's awesome. So
pretty competitive too. I mean, from what I know about the application process, you're supposed to make a video that's interesting and catches everyone's attention. How did you go through that process first?
Yeah, so at first I had at first the video came out and I was like, I need to do this. Like, this is something that just really spoke to me and was like, this will, if anything, if I don't get it, it is something that was an outlet for me to make more creative content. So I saw this as an opportunity to 1, create content, 2, and have fun with it. So that process kind of began just coming up with certain ideas, what I wanted to show, and just what would go viral on a social media platform. My video didn't go very viral on TikTok as much as I wanted it to, but it actually went viral on Twitter with over 100,000 views. So that was really cool. Not the outlet that they wanted, but it was still enough to make it to the second round. So that was good. My video is just kind of introducing myself, my skills, what I had, and what kind of intern I wanted to be for them, and that was social media marketer.
So when it comes to social media marketing and content creation, for a esports program, how do you anticipate that being different than, let's say, just a normal video game company? Something that Nintendo Social would put out compared to 100 Thieves Social would put out.
Yeah, so I started social media marketing working for, 1, my brother, and then 2, an organization, Ohio State Esports, so our esports program. When I started working for them, it was battling because esports is fairly new. I mean, it's not it's been around for years and everything, but how you manage and how you want to create stuff is still up to the creator, right? It's still very newly tapped into. And you have to make that decision. Do you want to be a professional account? Do you want to be more of a meme account? And organizations, I feel have a great balance of both of those. So when I'm looking at, say, 100 Thieves, yes, they're going to have some really great recaps. They're going to have some good sponsorships, partnerships, videos that they're going to put out. But you also occasionally want a good meme or a good reply to a comment. So you have to have a good balance of both, especially for organizations. If you're coming from say a BattleNet or Call of Duty, one of those kind of accounts, or what you said, Nintendo, that's mostly more going to be professional wise, but a lot of their meme funny content is going to come mostly from replies. So you'll see occasionally maybe Nintendo or some other one reply to say, I don't know, Tim the Tatman and call him an egghead, something like that, that's okay to do. But that's basically the breakdown that at least I think so.
For sure.
Hold on, follow-up question, because you said something fascinating about the Ohio State Esports account. So how's your experience been with that? Because I know Ohio State has kind of more recently started growing in the esports sphere. So how has it been posting on there and developing that?
Yeah, so to break it down, Ohio State has a gaming club that's been around for a while now. It's called BGC. Shout out to Buckeye Gaming Collective. They've been around for a while, and just recently, September 2020 or 2019, Ohio State invested in an esports arena. That's when I started working for them as their social media marketing assistant. So from the launch of the actual arena with 100 PCs, a virtual reality station, everything like that, that's kind of the side that I was on. BGC, I'm more of just a member of. But when that was happening, it was a lot of just taking pictures of the arena, getting people to come into the arena, replying to some comments, partnering with BGC, stuff like that. Sadly, because COVID, I don't have my job anymore, but I still, go into the arena. I still love them. So I've moved on from that position, but that was probably my favorite job that I've ever had, because it's pushed me into the direction of wanting to be a social media marketer within the esports world, and that's how I started. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Before Jacob excitedly jumped in, I did want to point out how interesting it is that 100 Thieves is only scouting for students who are around the student age. I read on their page it's only 16 and above, and I think that's a really great opportunity, especially for college students. You mentioned you were big in the esports program in your college community, and I think that really lays a good path for college students looking to get into these big gaming organizations. 100 Thieves is a huge deal because they just won the LCS. I'm sure you know, I'm not gonna bounce off about 100 Thieves facts, but that's a really great opportunity. I mean, do you see this being a viable path for college students to go into more gaming industries if bigger gaming industries allow them to have internships like this?
Yeah, I think that the opportunity for students coming out of college for internships especially is very low right now. But when you have big opportunities like this, I think it brings awareness for other companies and organizations to do similar stuff like 100 Thieves is doing. They want to start recruiting, and especially now in college, there are the growth of, say, esports majors and minors and stuff like that, where kids are, able to go to college and still learn more about esports instead of just thinking that, if I go to college, I'm behind, But now, because there's now that Ohio State has an esports minor. Or it's called game studies or something like that, but I just call it esports, whatever. It's game studies minor, because now you come out of college with that experience. Big organizations are going to be looking for that stuff, and it's almost going to have to become something you need for future organizations, instead of it just being an entry level job. Now you're going to have experience, and you're going to have that major just like in any other job, if that makes sense. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yes,
Absolutely.
it does.
And all of those programs are only going to make esports better. But this has been fantastic. Steph Miller, thank you so much for coming onto the show to talk to us about this. We really wish you the best for the 100 Thieves internship, and we hope that you finish out your school year in the best way possible.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Checkpoint XP on campus, your number one resource for collegiate esports. And I am joined here by a very special guest, friend of the show, Michigan native, all around great guy. We got Coach Cody Elson of Northwood University, and that's right, Northwood, our number 3 school in our power rankings going into the fall. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for joining us today. And how you doing? How you gearing up for the new semester?
I'm doing good. It's nice to have everybody back in the lab practicing compared to last year with, we played it safe even though we didn't have to the whole time. We really limited access to the lab. We had 3,000 square feet and we wouldn't have more than 9 students in there at a time. So it's nice to get back to normal. Kinda-ish normal. But yeah, no, it's been good. I'm excited for the fall and excited to see some of our new players play, and definitely looking to take over probably 3 more collegiate games so far.
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk very briefly about that before we get into some of the new players that I know you guys are very excited to field. I wanted to talk a little bit about last year, and of course over the summer. You guys have performed very well, especially at Rocket League. I think you overperformed at Overwatch as well. I think you guys kind of surprised a lot of folks there. What going into this new semester are you guys looking to keep? What's a part of that formula that you guys really want to replicate going into the fall, and what can you actually improve on? Because as I said before, you guys won a lot, but you didn't win everything. So there's always room for improvement. What are you guys looking at to get even better?
I kind of brought in a lot of additional talent to push our current players, because this is a varsity sport, and I think that's helped a lot. And then just in general, just how we prepare for bigger events and tournaments is changing, where it used to be a little laissez-faire, and we kind of until we really needed to put the hammer down, we wouldn't, but we've been doing that preemptively in a lot of games. just to get, some extra reps in and all that stuff. And the biggest key is to stop scrimming other college teams. We pretty much only scrim tier 2, tier 3 teams that, you don't really learn much from winning. You learn a lot from losing. So I would rather lose and get our butts kicked in scrims than win a scrim. It's just kind of how it works, and that's kind of the attitude and the approach we've taken recently. It's working so far. I mean, everything seems to be going a lot smoother. We'll find out over the next couple weeks, though. So.
Yeah, and what's some of the reaction you've been getting from those scrims? Because like you said, you've been playing a lot of tier 2 teams. I've been hearing through the grapevine that you guys have been playing a lot of tier 2 teams. What has the reaction from them at that level been when it comes to Northwood? Because I know for me, seeing a lot of guys kind of go from the pro scene back into the college scene and seeing how that all has been communicating and having that flow between those two spaces. What has you guys been reaction seeing the sort of tier 2 and tier 3 teams to your team, win or lose?
Honestly, believe it or not, we get a lot of players on those tier 2 teams and tier 3 teams that end up reaching out to us about how do I get involved in collegiate, because that is whether it's Northwood or not, I've been facilitating and helping players find colleges around the country because I want to see the scene grow. But I definitely think we surprise a lot of people. If 4 of our Overwatch players are on the same contenders team right now, and they tied for 3rd in the season of contenders, and 2 of our players on other teams. And I think if our team played together, we would still get 3rd, all 6 of them. But just roles and different opportunities prevent that right now. Yeah, Collegiate's been being respected a lot more this year than last year. It's not like a meme when a college team asks to scrim you. At least, us and like Maryville, Winthrop, even Bay State now. A lot of them have really top talented rosters that are pretty well respected, and Harrisburg as well, obviously.
And speaking about Harrisburg, obviously we have the HUE Fest coming up, HUE Invitational. What are you guys looking to participate in? Where can we see Northwood playing in that tournament? Because obviously there's going to be multiple esports going on. Are you guys competing in everything or just some of them?
So it's an invitational, so we only got invited for Overwatch. As a program, we haven't really put a whole lot of focus on the League of Legends yet. I love the game, but I see other games actually outgrowing it and outpacing it currently, so we are focusing on those growth games in North America, specifically, games that are growing here. But yeah, you can watch us at Harrisburg. I don't really know what their socials are for it, to be honest with you, but I'm sure you'll find plenty of things on Twitter about it. We won last year in Overwatch. We're the defending champions. There's some new players in the arena this year that are very good. I would say the top outside of ISU. I mean, I'll full out they are at a whole other echelon of talent compared to us in Maryville currently. They're going to be very tough to beat, but I think 2 through 10 can beat each other pretty much any other given day if everybody plays on their best. So it's going to be a lot more competitive. You have contenders players all over the country. Dallas has Petal, who's a DPS player that's unreal. Bay State's got tons of tier 3 or X tier 2 players. Boise State got Matt Merck, who's a phenomenal main take from contender. I mean, there's a lot of talent that's gone to these colleges. It's going to be really fun. We're excited for it, and we'll also see how people play on LAN for the first time.
Exactly. I was just about to say
advantage for us, because a lot of our players have that experience, and that might be our kryptonite that we might have against ISU, because it's a different environment. But I also foresee, not to go off topic here, I wouldn't be surprised if you see from Northwood, Maryville, and ISU any combination of maybe 5 to 6 players that go to Overwatch League next April anyway. So this might be the only semester where you really get to see these rosters going head to head, and that's just my prediction, because I think Overwatch League teams are going to cut a lot of cost, and they're going to start picking up NA talent more and more. And also, that's just the level of talent in college. You literally have our 4 players, all of ISU, I think 3 players on Maryville, so that's 13 out of the 18 roster spots, and the top 3 teams for contenders are collegiate players right now. So that should give you an idea of why that might happen. It's not any specific school. It's just there's just a lot of them going into play collegiate right now.
And you brought up a great point there about not just the level of talent of the collegiate teams, but also how we might be seeing some of them in the Overwatch League very soon. But I do want to shift gears slightly and talk about this semester. Obviously, we just brought up HUE, but looking forward into obviously the Overwatch Collegiate Championships, as well as CRL and all the other tournaments that you guys participate in. You know, I know you said you guys are expanding into more esports, so it's time for us to finally ask the question: where are you guys expanding into, and who can we look forward to watching in those esports?
Yeah, so I think if you're a varsity director of a college program and you're not building out Call of Duty or Valorant, if your administration allows it, because some don't for some reason, which blows my mind. Games are rated mature. These are adults playing. They should be allowed to play what they want to play. But yeah, those two games are what we're really went heavily into in recruiting. Most of our Call of Duty roster that we'll have debuting in January will have finished top 5 in Challengers Elite, which is right outside the CDL. Our Valorant roster is comprised of a lot of Tier 2 players. We actually, our old hit scan, Tyler, who won HuFest with us last year as an example, switched to Valorant. Better aspirations. Being a North American hit scan is the hardest role to break in Overwatch League. So I think Aspire was the first one in 2 years that went to Defiant. But yeah, no, he just, I mean, he's one of probably the top players outside of Tier 1 teams in Valorant right now, and we built the roster around him, and it's comprised of a lot of Tier 2 players, and then some other players that, you know, our one player that everybody overlooks was rank 1 for the first week of the season on Valorant. And I'm excited to see that grow and the number of teams in it. And then Call of Duty again, that is, as much as we don't want to admit it, and as much as like, oh, we push Overwatch and League of Legends, Call of Duty is North America and America's game.
Yeah,
it's just the truth. That's what people watch. I mean, the collegiate viewership was crazy without any like hosting or support from you know, any of the developers, Activision Blizzard or anything like that. I saw them hit, I think, like 18K viewers at one point in the playoffs last year. That's just the game, you know. Like for me, talking to high schools and stuff right now, it's Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, and Rocket League.
Yeah,
those are the 3 things that they talk about. So you'll see that. And we signed Ice. Don't Care About Ice, who actually just got tied for 3rd in the first Madden major event of the year in the pro side. I'm a firm believer in Madden, NBA, 2K, NHL, FIFA eventually will break through as top collegiate esports, because I can tell you right now the most played game on our campus is NBA 2K by far. And Madden's 2nd and FIFA's 3rd. And then it's the rest of the game. It's just it just makes so much sense for collegiate, and EA is really starting to support and kind of give permission to do stuff, so you'll see a big growth in that. But then I hired his name's Jacob. Yes, that's his real name. First name, last name's Jacob. He's my first full-time employee who signed under me. He runs Tri-City Tryhards, which is a huge Smash weekly, and then we're gonna really go hard into Smash. I love the community, and they show up on campus every Friday.
And we're in Michigan. There's no way you could be in Michigan or anywhere in the Midwest and not run Smash. It just confounds me that certain schools don't do it.
Yeah, we're this is our first year really going into it, because what I kind of do is I kind of take chunks. I was adding 2 games a year at an elite level, and this year we added 3. We'll see what happens next year, but Smash, actually 4 games we're trying to add an elite level this year, but we just have that surge of talent. Honestly, it's nuts. As much as I like, people always come to me and they ask me to be on recruiting panels. How do you do this? I'll be honest with you, success breeds success, and like, all it took was us being successful the first year, and a lot of them just email me and reach out to me first.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's a lesson for some administrations at schools to, you know, invest, and it'll pay off. You know?
Absolutely. And so the last question I want to ask is, you know, you guys had a great year. You guys are looking to improve on it, not just in the games you already are in, but like you said, Call of Duty, Madden, a number of other games. You know, looking at the scene right now, looking at where we are in fall of 2021 going into next year, just how much do you think that some of these kids being back on campus is going to affect some of the teams and some of the level of play? Because obviously playing online is a completely different environment, completely different team dynamics. Do you think that will affect a lot of the players who maybe dominated last year going into this year? Do you think the lands will have a big effect on the landscape as we move forward through the semester?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you right now, a perfect example is one of our Rocket League players that came to Northwood pretty much came to Northwood to get off West Ping on Rocket League, which is Lion Blaze. And he's here and he's loving playing collegiate and, playing for Ghost Gaming and all that. But yeah, no, it makes a big difference being in a facility where the college is located. And that's another thing too, like why I think you'll start to see Midwest and East Coast colleges kind of dominate a little bit more in collegiate esports, because it just happens to be an advantage for us. Where a lot of the servers are located right now. But yeah, no, it's going to make a big difference too. And quite honestly, I think Wi-Fi is unpredictable, and some games like Call of Duty, like it's really, really bad. So like the hit reg is terrible online. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously a lot of LANs keep getting canceled, unfortunately, but hopefully by the next spring we can get the COVID numbers down, some more people vaccinated, and kind of, start to really get back to normal at some point. Because right now it feels like we're going like this and this and this and this.
No, I agree with you, and I hope that we're back to normal as well. But a great point you brought up about the LAN. Just very briefly, we went to the LCS Summer Split Finals a couple years ago when it was in Detroit, and actual players were telling us that it was some of the best ping they played on in the entire country coming to the Midwest. So it's definitely something to look forward to. We definitely want to hear more from you, Coach. We're going to be talking to you more throughout the semester, hearing about the progress of all the new players and new programs that you got coming up. If anybody wants to find you or any information about your program, where can they go?
Yeah, best thing to do is, my Twitter is just @Evolve or @Northwood Esport. And there's a bunch of contact info at esports.northwood.edu that you can find. Best place is probably Twitter for me. I check that way more than any other social media links and email. So that goes for the Northwood Twitter account as well. We have staff that handles that, so they see everything pretty quickly.
Awesome. Coach Cody Elson of Northwood University. Again, our number 3 school in the nation in esports. And make sure you guys check them out. They're going to be playing at HUE, the Invitational, coming up very soon this weekend. And also make sure that you guys follow them on all their social medias. We want to thank you, Coach, for coming in. And we wish you luck in the semester and the years beyond.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That's going to be it for this episode of Checkpoint XP on Campus. Make sure you holler at us on all of our social medias at On Campus Esports on Twitter and all the other great social medias.